settle in. Just something that feels really supportive for your spine. And allowing for a moment or two, just find the fluidity within your breath. The ease within the physical posture, the shape that you found your way into. There's this artist who lives in this village, in this forest. He's taking great pride. She's taking great pride in crafting her art out of deadfall, branches, trees that have fallen in the forest. We'll give ourselves just 60 more seconds here, just to find center. Remember that it's not just how the physical shape is feeling, but how the breath within you is feeling as well. Last 15 seconds here. It feels appropriate. We'll let the eyes open if they are closed. And we'll transition to staff. So legs extended out in front of us. Nice neutral spine. Let's take ourselves into just a traditional seated forward fold, just a little opportunity to explore the posterior chain, how the hamstrings feel, how the lumbar feels, how the quadratus lumborum feels, supporting the spinal column. And we'll just breathe into this seated shape. Eventually, once you kind of feel like you know where the sensations are coming from within the body, see if you can use your breath to settle deeper into the forward fold shape and relax deeper into the breath itself. We'll give ourselves just 30 more seconds here. When it feels appropriate, let's find your way back into a seat. And from this seated space, Let's bend our left knee. We'll let the left knee fall out wide. So we end up in a half butterfly shape. Really think about balancing the sacrum here so that your seat is level and neutral. And then let's rotate the belly button to the middle of the right thigh and just find our way down. The sensations here are likely different than they were when we were in a neutral staff, traditional seated forward fold. But once again, once you settle into the shape, can you start to look for those ways where you can relax and deepen, how you can utilize the breath as a tool for release? The thing that set this woman's art apart was that it always came from the forest. It wasn't flashy, it didn't glitter, it didn't shine, but it was an authentic expression of art, earthed from realness. And for years, the people of this village treasured the crafts she made. Remember to release, to use your breath as a tool for depth. We'll give ourselves 30 more seconds here on this first side. Eventually, we'll walk ourselves back up into seat. Let's extend the left leg so that it mirrors the right and just pull the toes back towards the nose. So just a little bit of extension there. And then we'll relax the feet, bend the right knee, let that right knee fall out wide. Half butterfly, asymmetry within the shape. We want to find a balanced and neutral sacrum. And then once you feel like you're neutral, we'll rotate so the belly button's down the middle of the left thigh and we'll find our way into that fold. Last 30 seconds here on side two. Using your breath to settle your way into any last available space. And eventually we'll walk ourselves back up into staff, extend that right leg. Complete the staff shape. Think about the verticality of the spine. Pull those toes back towards you one more time. Really think about that. Expression of the plantar fascial tissue. And then let's relax the feet and take ourselves into one last seated forward fold. Give ourselves 60 more seconds here as we find this last seated fold of practice. Feels right for you. We'll walk ourselves back up towards staff. Let's connect with both of our blankets here. The first blanket we're going to take from shelf fold to a towel length. And from that towel length, we'll just get a nice roll. This is going to be our ankle support. And so that can come over the ankles, knees can bend here. We'll wrap that around. You're going to let the knees fall out wide. We're also going to have a neck support. So neck support can be from shelf fold. It can be a half roll or it can be a full roll. The biggest thing here is I just want this in the middle of the cervical spine and we want the chin lifted slightly. So whatever depth of the roll makes the most sense. You're going to lower yourself down. Make sure that you feel supported in the legs. We're going to settle here for a bit. Let our body feel held. Feel taken care of for a moment. Importantly, the physicality of the body can never be fully relaxed if our breath isn't relaxed. So think about the breath as the first aspect. Come fully to ease. And the second aspect to come fully at ease is the body. One day, a salesman rolled into town. And when he revealed his wares, they sparkled and gleamed. He pitched them as the solution to all of the town's ails, all of the villagers' ails. Things that would make even those wearing crowns jealous, he told them. And the villagers bought in. They started trading their cherished heirloom items, their tools, antiques, art. The thing that the salesman gave the most for was those authentic works of art created from the forest. Now that you've been here for a while, now that the breath pattern is settled, and you run a scan of the body starting at the top of the head, working down through the face, past the jaw, the chin, the throat. And as you're scanning down the body, can you think about where you can relax more? Through the sternum, continuing down the torso, into your legs, scanning all the way from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. asking if there's the opportunity to relax anything more intently, more consciously. So that you can be more at ease. Think about the positioning of your arms. If they're in the right place for the greatest amount of ease and the deepest capacity of your breath. Ensure that the head and neck are appropriately placed so that the airways are as unencumbered as is possible. Each day, the people of the village traded more and more of their cherished possessions. For promises of glitter, sparkle. Shimmering statue of the salesman was placed in the middle of town. And inside the windows of the villagers' homes, things gleamed and sparkled in the sunlight. Maybe as you're settled here, you allow yourself another scan, a second observation of where and what might relax more deeply, might be at more ease with your focus and attention. All items gleamed in the window. A hearth inside the houses started to cool. The fields, without the necessary tools, started to wither. The villagers didn't seem to notice, too lost in their sparkles. Children once filled the streets with laughter, now blankly staring. These shimmering items on their coffee tables. Time passed. And things progressed. Last 30 seconds here. When it feels appropriate, bring our knees back to neutral. Pull that rolled blanket off of our ankles, and we're going to tuck that underneath the lumbar. So above the sacrum here, we're looking to encourage the arch of the lumbar spine, slowly lowering onto this blanket roll, making sure that it's not too dense a structure. Eventually, we'll pull and remove the blanket from underneath the neck, cervical spine. We'll settle here. As you settle, we're just going to add like the subtlest sway to the sacrum. So there's, some level of anchoring where that blanket roll is pressing against the QL musculature. And so think about above the blanket roll being static, and then just a subtle lateral sway of the hips, of the sacrum, of the knees from that anchor point. And then eventually we'll come back to stillness and just think about the sacrum settling down, the breath coming right to that apex of the arch. breath so that you can receive on either side of the blanket so that the thoracic spine is landing in neutrality. The sacrum is landing in neutrality. We'll give ourselves 60 more seconds in this low back bend. We'll push down into the feet. Our belt line high enough to slide our blanket out from underneath us here. Let your body reconnect with the mat for a moment. We want to feel neutral along the entirety of the spine before we work on the upper back. Feel any of the musculature that might be pulling or extra active. Try to relax that with the smoothness and depth of your exhale. And then eventually we're going to reconnect with our roll. Elevate the hips a little bit higher into a more full version of bridge and pull this blanket roll up as high as you can before releasing yourself back down. The blanket roll should be below the scapula, but impacting the thoracic spine. The legs here can be bent, they can be extended, the bottoms of the feet can come back together. We haven't done one of these upper back bends like this in quite some time, so make sure that the depth of the shape feels good for your spine. And then find your way back into that ease of breath. That softness where the sacrum lands and that softness where the shoulder blades land. The neutral balance at both points. Thinking about each cycle of breath as an opportunity to relax more deeply. that feels right for you. Bring your hands behind your head and interlace them in a way where the palms can cup the back of the head, almost like you're providing a little hello. And then with an exhale, we're going to bring the elbows up towards the ceiling and squeeze them together. And inhale, back open. Exhale, let the elbows come up and squeeze. And inhale, back open. And one more time, exhale together. And inhale, back open. And then find your relaxation. Make sure that the sacrum feels balanced, that the shoulder blades feel balanced, and we're going to reverse the breath impact of that same movement. So we'll inhale and bring the elbows together. And exhale and relax. Inhale together. And exhale and relax. Inhale together. Exhale and relax. And just let your body soften to whatever feels best here. Think about this arch that we have, this upper back bend. We're going to give that another 60 seconds. Just attempting to really let that upper back musculature that we mobilize there become more and more at ease. And when it feels appropriate, connect with that prop that's underneath us, lift our belt line high enough to glide that out. And let's come back into a point where we can really feel how the spine is resting against the mat. The arms fall to wherever feels most natural and easy, most beneficial. Once you feel like you understand the spine, let's inhale the knees to a bent position and we'll just start to add a little dynamic sway. Just moving with your breath at a pace that feels impactful, at a pace that feels appropriate. Let this movement not just be in the hips, right? Not just be in the sway of the knees. Feel how the movement of the legs impacts the entire musculature supporting the spine. Feel into that in both directions. And then eventually, let's let both knees fall over towards the left. And we'll let the knees hold there. You have your props available. If adding props can help your body be at ease. 60 seconds on this first side. When it feels appropriate, we can bring our knees back to neutral. Maybe lift up into a little bridge for a little reset. Think about how, again, the entirety of the back's musculature responds as the tailbone comes back down to the mat, and then let both knees fall over to the second side, the right side. And we end here and we settle. when nearly all of the salesmen's glittering objects were sold. When the streets were nearly silent. People started to look at one another with suspicion and doubt. A storm rolled in. It ripped the roofs off houses, smashed walls. When it feels appropriate, we'll bring our knees back to neutral. Maybe offer one last little bridge, see if that makes an impact for you. And then ask yourself if there's anything that you might want, that you might need, that you might benefit from prior to Shavasana. And if there is, we'll offer that to ourselves now. Eventually, time will be right for you to drift into stillness. And we'll find our way into a shape where we can appreciate our version of Shavasana. This morning. When morning came, the villagers looked around, and all of their shiny, glittering objects, the statue of the salesman, were all gone, blown away, destroyed, vanished into the ether. Whatever it was, the town was empty. And so were the villagers. Just finding your version of stillness. As the villagers emerged from their tattered homes, eyes wide with shock at the desolation, they began to wander the streets, searching for that elusive glitter. And they all eventually found their way to the center of town, where the artist stood holding a single carved figure, simple, unadorned, but unbroken. And while the villagers looked for Shimmer, she shouted over them, "What is valued today may cost dearly tomorrow." We'll start to bring some movement to our fingers and our toes. Our wrists, our ankles, our elbows and our knees, shoulders, hips. Neck, head, jaw, eyes, tongue. Something in her call snapped them out of their daze. They'll eventually utilize enough movement to come back into a seat. And they stared up at her holding this figure, this representation of authenticity, truth. And she set it in the middle of town and walked away. Let's let our eyes close, find settle, breath, get fluid. Feeling into your seat. With your next inhale, we'll bring our hands together, heart center. Over the course of the next 7 days, can you ask yourself what matters most to you and what it will cost to keep it? How that impacts your experience. Thank you so much for being a part of this morning's practice and for being you. Namaste. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves. I'll be back tomorrow if you want to move, and we'll do this next Sunday.